Hello students, welcome back to our channel. This dictation is specially prepared for steno aspirants and candidates appearing for the Senior Scale Stenographer examination. The speed of this passage is 100 words per minute. Get your notebooks ready, sit comfortably, maintain proper posture and focus on accuracy along with speed. We will begin in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. The department responded that the authority had reviewed the entire record and had provided sufficient reasons for its decision. Full stop. The tribunal emphasized that disciplinary authorities must exercise independent judgment and provide clear reasoning demonstrating application of mind. Full stop. The tribunal examined whether the applicant had been supplied with a copy of the inquiry report prior to imposition of penalty, enabling submission of an effective representation against adverse findings. Full stop. Counsel for the applicant argued that the report had been furnished only after the penalty was imposed, thereby denying an opportunity to challenge conclusions. Full stop. Stanza. The department maintained that a summary of findings had been communicated earlier and that the applicant had participated throughout the proceedings. Full stop. The tribunal observed that supply of the complete report at an appropriate stage was an essential component of procedural fairness. Full stop. Considerable discussion took place regarding proportionality of punishment and the need to balance disciplinary objectives with principles of fairness and rehabilitation. Full stop. The applicant argued that even if certain procedural lapses were established, dismissal from service was excessively harsh considering length of service and absence of prior adverse record. Full stop. The department maintained that the misconduct involved financial irregularities affecting public funds and therefore warranted stringent action to maintain integrity of administration. Full stop. Stanza. The tribunal noted that punishment must correspond to gravity of misconduct and consider both aggravating and mitigating circumstances. Full stop. Another contention raised by the applicant concerned alleged bias on the part of the inquiry officer who was said to have prior professional disputes with the applicant. Full stop. The department denied any conflict of interest and argued that the officer had been appointed in accordance with standard procedures. Full stop. The tribunal examined correspondence and internal communications to determine whether a reasonable apprehension of bias existed. Full stop. It was observed that even an appearance of partiality could undermine confidence in disciplinary proceedings and that authorities must ensure transparency and impartiality in appointment of inquiry officers. Full stop. After hearing detailed submissions, the tribunal directed both parties to file written notes of arguments highlighting relevant statutory provisions, service rules, and judicial precedents governing disciplinary action. Full stop. Counsel for the applicant cited decisions emphasizing that procedural safeguards were essential to prevent arbitrary punishment. Full stop. Senja. The department relied upon precedents affirming limited scope of judicial review in service matters where disciplinary findings were supported by evidence. Full stop. The tribunal indicated that its role was not to reappreciate evidence as an appellate authority but to examine legality, fairness, and reasonableness of the decision-making process. Full stop. Before reserving the matter for orders, the tribunal inquired whether any possibility of settlement or reconsideration of penalty through administrative review existed. Full stop. Counsel for the department agreed to examine the matter without prejudice to its legal stance, while the Applicant expressed willingness to accept a lesser penalty if procedural lapses were acknowledged. Full stop. The tribunal encouraged constructive dialogue but clarified that it would proceed to adjudicate the dispute on merits if no resolution was reached within the stipulated time. Full stop. The parties were directed to maintain professional decorum during ongoing proceedings. Full stop.